podcast. Welcome back to our YouTube channel. And if this is your very first time, welcome, welcome, welcome. This is Healing Streams podcast where we talk about faith, healing, discovery, identity, hope, and love. My name is Akimbode Victoria Aduragbemi, and with me here is
This one,
okay, and we have a special guest. Don't worry, I will introduce you to them. We have a special guest. She is my friend. We all went to Obafemi Awolowo University together, and wonderful thing is that we were roommates from part one to part four. Like we were roommates all through our years in OAU. She's a great friend. She's going to introduce herself. She's going to tell us everything about herself. But she's a great friend to me. She's awesome. She's friendly. She's accommodating. She's everything, 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 everything. So I want her to introduce herself to us. So please introduce yourself.
Hi. My name is Halima. Halima Alimi. Yes, we're roommates 4 years. Well, I'm a career-oriented person. What else? Actually, there's nothing to introduce about me. That's like basically, I'm a child of God. Yes, I'm a beloved child of God. It was always put that word out today. It's very important. I'm a beloved child of God. I like playing games, listening to music. I like life in general. Yeah, I like life in general.
So today we'll be talking about a very interesting topic, a very sensitive topic, something that a lot of people have been going through, which is affecting their adulthood, and that is healing from unhealthy childhood. This is something that, you know, people go through every day, children go through every day. I think dealing with teenagers too made me understand that these children, they are going through a lot. You know, some things that we can just chest and say we are cool, we are fine with it, is something that they hold there, and is something that really traumatizes them, and it affects them either for a particular period of time. And you know, in this time and season, people are going through mental health challenges, and it all started from childhood. You know, so we are going to go deep, 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 deep today, and we're going to we are just going to have a conversation, enjoy ourselves, and just keep talking about this over and over again, because we need people to heal, and that is why Healing Streams podcast is here. We are here to help you go through that journey of healing, obviously with the foundation, who is Christ. So we'll be talking about it. My first question to us is that, you know, the fundamental words from that topic is healing, right? Healing and unhealthy childhood. Unhealthy childhood. So my question is, what is really healing? Because people might feel that healing, you know, people can define healing to different things, and healing my what healing is to somebody, to me, might be different from what healing is to you as a person, and the way and the direction in which people heal is very different. I might just like chest it out and just, I might speak about it in order for me to heal. I might just try to talk to myself and just, okay, this has happened, and let's move on. So what is healing? What is that? What is the definition of healing, so that it will help people understand, and it will direct people on ways in which they can heal from whatever childhood trauma or whatever they have gone through.
so for me, I would define healing as that point where something that hurts me when I remembers, it doesn't ache me that much anymore. It doesn't make me lose myself. That's what I would define healing as. Healing is just that point because it's a process. So healing is that point in time when what hurts me doesn't have control over me. It doesn't mean I forgot about what hurts me. It doesn't mean I did not maybe learn or get something out of what hurt me. It just means that when I remember that thing that hurt me, it doesn't have a hold over me anymore.
Okay, so for me, I think healing is acceptance. I think when somebody says, "Okay, I'm healing," or "I'm healed," or "I'm trying to heal," I believe that first of all, it has to do like with acceptance. So when I say that, even like when for normal human being sickness, before you go and buy anti-malaria, you have to say, "Okay, yes, I have malaria." You might be saying symptoms, I might be like, I'm fine, I'm fine. Until you said that, okay, yes, I might have this sickness, I might have this problem, I might have this disease. That's when you can now say, okay, healing. I think healing is basically just accepting the condition you've currently found yourself and finding the best way to bring yourself out of that condition. So this is where I am. How do I move from point A to point B? That's just what healing is for me.
Healing is acceptance. How well we are able to handle it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think we're getting somewhere. So, what do we understand by unhealthy childhood? What is it? Let's start from Alima. What do you understand by unhealthy childhood?
Okay, so childhood trauma, unhealthy childhood trauma. I think the first thing that well, most time when people hear childhood trauma, they kind of think of the home environment, or maybe the parent did something that infected the child. But I think people feel that unhealthy childhood trauma can come from children to children. So even maybe your classmates, your children in secondary school, primary school, they can all go through unhealthy childhood trauma, and it's just basically a situation that this person finds themselves that was not palatable to them. Now, like you said in the beginning, another person might be able to like chest it. It might be something that happened to me and it's like it's still affecting me, and then it happened to you and you're like, "Ah, but this thing is fine now, why is she doing like it's a big deal?" So I think childhood trauma for me, just any situation that as a child or growing up you found yourself that it left an impact in you that was not pleasant. So we have things that we went around like, oh, because of this, I'm a better person. But then we have things that were not pleasant. And yes, trauma can also make you a better person in the sense that, okay, I've gone through this, but I will not go through it. I will not allow someone to go through it. But if it at any point in life made you feel unpleasant and made you feel somehow, some type of way, then it is a trauma. And it is not always from like the home, like, oh, my parents did this, my childhood trauma. Your classmates can cause you childhood trauma. So yeah, that's what childhood trauma is.
Meaning,
Childhood trauma. I think there's anything that happened during the process of growth that wasn't exactly meant to be the norm. That wasn't exactly meant to be the norm of growing up. About classified childhood traumas. Anything from wherever, from whatever source that happened to somebody in a growing stage, like in that growing phase, and then that it's not that wasn't meant to be part of the norm.
okay, and for me, it is that period where a lot of things can happen. It might not necessarily be a person self. It might not necessarily be a person. It might be events, situations that have caused a mental effect or a psychological effect on the person while growing. There are different events. There are sometimes that I like, you know, and it is not to undermine people's experiences. Accidents, car accident or any accident, either motor, but as long as it's an accident, you know we have seen how accidents can cause people's future, how people can decide to stop things abruptly because of that event, that traumatic event. Some people won't. There are some people that because of it might not even be their personal experience. It might be maybe somebody close to them. They say somebody close to them go through a car accident. Maybe unfortunately the person dies at the end, and the person feels like, I am not going to drive. I am never ever going to drive. I can't go through that traumatic experience of having, because when they are on the wheel, the first thing that comes to mind is that this person died, and it leads to depression or anxiety disorder and all of those things. So we are going to be talking about those things. We are going to be talking about all of those things. All. We are not going to be leaving anything untouched. We are not going to be leaving anything untouched. So we are going to talk about what are those things that causes trauma. What are those things that makes childhood unhealthy, so that our listeners, our viewers will be able to know, and when they see the symptoms, the signs in their child, they are able to get help, they are able to attack it immediately. Because we can be, it's not that we are not observant, but we don't know that these things causes trauma for a child. These things leave indelible mark on a child. So that is something that we need to talk about. It's something that we need to trash out. So what are those things? What are those things that causes all of these things? What are those things? There are so many things, and we are going to talk about them one after the other. So Alima, do you want to go?
Okay, thank you. I think the first thing I'll say that causes unhealthy childhood trauma is words. I know as adults we tend to say like the words you say have an impact and everything, but realizing that even in children, those words have impact. My sister always say that children have this formative age of 0 to 2. Anything you want to kind of like teach your child, you need to teach them from 0 to 2. From 2 years, maybe 3 years upward, you are just reinforcing what you already know. And that's the way it is. You might, like you say, you might never be saying the word to your child. Maybe you are saying it to like maybe a random person on the phone, but your child is hearing this word. Your child is hearing you call somebody stupid, hearing you say different kind of words, and it's like it just affects the child. And you might, I did not insult my child. So words are like the first thing I would say have very high impact on childhood trauma that causes a lot of children trauma. You see that when they now hear that word, they kind of like it just triggers something. I like, but it's not even you they are shouting at. Why are you taking it personal? But child has seen situation by experience, or maybe they're always shouting, or people in his area are always shouting, engaging in violence. So like, even though yeah, the violence is not directed towards him, it also affects him. So words, violence, I feel like those two things have like particular impact on how children get traumatized easily. Actually, even and that's like when it's not even concerning like them particularly. Then concerning like now your relationship, like me and this person, and me being the one or the person being the one impacting trauma. I mean, I think another thing that people need to know is that when it comes to like mental health, we can always like you can always gauge what works for somebody. I always say you have to give people what they want, not always what okay, this is that we know or love language, all these things. Because yes, my love language might be quality time, but your language might be act of service. I'm not going to be giving you quality time and it's not going to be beneficial to you. But if maybe we're spending time together and I'm helping you maybe arrange the house, pack for a trip, you will find it more appreciative because that is your love language, which also now helps my own love language of spending quality time. So if you are going to say, okay, yes, so I was in an accident, but I'm still comfortable driving. But then somebody else that has had an accident and says, I don't want to get behind the wheel of a car again. I don't want to drive. If I must go out, I must use Uber. You're like, what is there? Should be both of us were both in that accident. But then, especially as children, if a child is like, the child was small when it happened, but you need to communicate with them. Okay, what does my child see? What are they hearing? Because you might be like, I know in my house we don't watch TV, we are safe. I don't use foul language, but your child is not always within your house. He goes to school, he has classmates, he has teachers, and they are also saying things that are impacting that child. They're also telling your child, oh, do this, this is how to grow up in the society. And those kind of things just makes you not know what's going on. I was recently listening to a video, I think it was a video podcast. A person was talking about how some things that we think we don't like them because we like them. We like them because that's how we just know them. And I just grew up knowing I like this thing. I just grew up knowing this thing works for me. But if you sit down to think about, oh, why do I like this thing? Why don't I like this thing? You might see like there's no basis. It's just imprinted on you from time to time. And that's how childhood trauma is. Your classmates is just saying your child about my house, my daddy used to beat my mommy. Now your own parent, you and your family are loving. But he keeps saying about domestic violence from his friend. And now she's scared of domestic violence. And you're wondering, Where did she pick up domestic violence from? It's not like we watch anything that has domestic violence, but those words keep on growing, moving. Words are like still keep on moving in the child. So I feel like those are just like little ways that people pick up traumas that are not even like directed towards them. So like always checking what is this person listening to and trying to reorient. Okay, even if they are hearing this outside, once they come back, I make sure that whatever they are hearing, they are on the right path. I'm changing it and making sure that they are not listening. Even yes, they've told them about this, when they come, I also give them my own understanding on it and what the Bible talks about it on it so that they know the right thing, not just what they've heard.
Okay, thank you very much, Ini.
I think I would just say one thing that causes childhood trauma could just be the environment, both physical environment, social environment. You know, a child growing up in an environment that is, like Alima said, violent field, it imprints a kind of impression on that child. If that child isn't careful, it's something the child holds on to even by the time the child gets older. So I think that's for me that's one major thing: the environment, social, mental, physical.
Okay, talking about environment for me, it's another hostile environment too causes childhood trauma. When you are not in an environment filled with love, where everything you do is being questioned, everything a child does is not good in the eyes of the parents. Or in fact, these days, let's be frank, we have so many parents, maybe because of the economic situation of the country now. We have so many parents who neglect their child or their children. They feel that money answers all things. Money can replace the quality time they are to spend with their children. Money should replace the emotional needs of the child. When if we're in a world where everybody is proud of their family, everybody wants to talk about their family. Oh, my mommy did this, my mom cooked, and you are saying, let's say the parents are well to do, so my caregiver, my nanny cooked for me, my nanny. And what we always come, oh, my mom told me this, and they are finding it very difficult to even say anything about their parents because they spend absolutely no time with their parent, because 1 minute they are in the house, and when they are in the house they're working, when they're outside they're working, or they're spending that time, or they're traveling from one country to another. And all of those things just affect a child, all of those things. And you see parents, even after the whole neglect and everything, we still find parents doing what? We find parents always making the child feel less of himself or herself, always questioning. Like there was a movie I watched where the mother was always available, but she was always saying, why can't you be like this person? You are too fat, you eat too much. And she didn't know that she was doing more damage than good. She felt that maybe that would drive her to be serious in her academics, to do good in her academics and do everything. But we find out that the girl became a monster. It led the girl to become a monster. I've dealt with teenagers who they will tell me that, oh, their parents are this, their parents are that, and it led them to be involved in things that they shouldn't be involved in. Getting involved in, being the gang leader of the children who are rebellious, because they feel that the only way they can be accepted, the only way they can be loved is by when you are in a group where everybody fears you, everybody, so everybody wants to be with you. Is that attention, that they need. It might not be because they really want to join that bad group or that bad gang, but because the search for love, the search for people around them. So all of those things, they truly and sincerely affect children. When a parent is unavailable, they are not even the and to make things worse, the people that are now available to take care of them are now abusive. They are not there. They are treating them like a nobody, or they are being treated like an outcast. They treat you. We all know all of these things when they are being maltreated by families or family friends and all of those things, or even friends. They are being maltreated maybe because of the economic status of the parent, or the other way around, maybe loss of parents. Maybe the parents died at one stage or the other, and the family, they are just being brutal in their care with them, and all of those things just causes you know unhealthy trauma. So I want us to talk about other things. I'm very sure that there are other things that we can also discuss, that so that people really know that these things truly happen, these things truly affect children. Let's go ahead and talk about other things.
Okay, so I'll just add to what you said. So you see that attention thing. I think that's one thing that parents realize. I feel like as the child, yes, when the child grows, the child is going to understand that, oh, my mother had to like drop everything and work. She didn't have my time because of she was working, and she was trying to like make money to make sure that I maintain a lifestyle. But the experience that the child already has is already ingrained in them. It's not going to disappear just because now I understand that my mommy was working to make money. I think another thing we also need to know that sometimes some parents don't even know like they are causing this childhood trauma. Because take an example for a parent that is telling the child, you have to like be smart, you have to like be top of your class, don't let anybody bully you. They punch you, you punch your own back. Now she's just trying to make sure that her child is tough outside. When it gets to the society, everybody knows it's a dog eat dog world. But the child can either now grow up to become, like you said, to become a bully, and even situations where he does not need to like overexert himself, he's still doing with the one they are oppressing. So that kind of case, you need to understand that, okay, yes, so as much as I want to prepare my child for the real world, I want them to be sharp and prepared to handle any situation. They also have to learn and let them see the situation they find themselves in. So it's not a case of I'm telling my child, oh, you have to be sharp, you have to be learned, you must not, because oh, you are too fat, you are too thin. You're not eating, what's going on? Finish your food. And the child does not, he's not just hungry. But then child now knows that if I don't finish my food, it means problem. If I say mommy, I'm full, it's problem. Then every time he now goes somewhere, even when they give him food that he cannot finish, forces him or herself to finish it, because you must not leave leftover. If I leave leftover, it means I'm wasting. And if I'm wasting, it means somebody else does not have. Meanwhile, it's just a case of sometimes I just don't feel like finishing. Even as I'm big, like sometimes I don't feel like finishing my food. I'm not that dish it though. When I get after it, I'm like, I'm full, I'll eat it later. But if you now go to kind of house where you must not leave leftover, you must eat it. It might not even lead to you becoming gluttonous, because it's not like you even want it, but you shall know that from small they've told you you must finish your food, no leftover in the plate. You are now forced to force yourself to do all this kind of thing. So that's another way that like people also give childhood trauma. I think another thing like people also don't realize about like causing childhood trauma is the fact that one of the major things that causes it is lack of communication. And I'll say because of like not just like, oh, I'm talking, you are listening, but like actually effective communication. So this information I am passing across to this person receiving it the way I intend for the person to receive it. So I'm saying, oh, I want you to do better in school. Is it because of I'm trying to compare you to other children? Is it because I know that you can push yourself to that potential? Because if you just tell me, do better, do better, do better, I tell people like my mom is an enabler. It's kind of person, you want to do this, she will support you. No problem. I tell like, have you thought this thing? Like you already, even me that say I want to do it, I'm not here pushing myself the way you are pushing me. So it makes it easy for me to like, oh, I want to do this, and then she remind you, oh, you mentioned you want to do this. How are you planning on doing it? What is the plan? Have you started working on this? I heard somebody from somebody that she's helping you research it, she's helping you check, even if she does not understand it because you say you want to do it. Now there are people that they might say, oh, I want to do this at home, and nobody in their house will ask them about it again. If you do it, if you did not do it. For from small, I know that if I want to do something, even when I was in primary school, and I say, oh, mommy, I want to do this thing. She's buying you children book on it. Okay, this I saw this book, you can use. She'll just come home, I brought this one for you so that you already know. And she always make sure like when she's communicating, that thing she's trying to say, you get it. But then there are now cases where even from small, I'm like, mommy, you said this, then I don't understand. And parents need to learn to answer children why. I know, yes, answering that question of why always brings up issue. Me, I like to ask questions. Even as, from small, this I like to ask questions. If you tell me something, why? You have to explain your. You cannot just tell me something. I'm supposed to just take it at face value. But the United Security child is like, oh, mommy, you said this thing. Why should I do like this? Maybe like everybody went through this thing. Somebody knock on the door. Your parents now say, tell them I'm not around. And then you're telling your child not to lie. I tell her, mommy, why should I tell her you're not? I said, actually, I said, just go and tell her. And it's like, mommy, you said I should not lie. You being in the house and me telling her you are not around is lying. Is lying. But then I'm asking mommy, why should I? You always explain to each other, oh, I don't want to talk to her now. I'm not in the mood to see anybody. The child cannot know how to maybe rephrase it and be like, oh, my mommy is sleeping. My mommy does not feel like talking to anybody. Can you please come back? But then just like, go and tell her I said I'm not around. Tomorrow, like the child lie, you'll be like, why are you lying? But like you are the one that first told her to go and lie. Like you started the journey for her. She's just continuing what you've been teaching her. So like as much as yes, we want to send message, we're able to explain to the children that this is why I'm telling you to do these things. If I'm telling you, oh, you are maybe you should reduce how you eat or you should eat more, it's because I want you to be healthy. I know that if you don't eat, if you don't eat, you'll be thin. And you cannot wait for your body to be hungry. Sometimes even if you don't feel hungry, just put something in your system so that you can function. But if you tell mommy, I'm not hungry, I'm like, eat Jerry, eat Jerry. Why are you forcing me to do these things without any reason? Because children think it. Because me, I know when I was a child, I used to think all this is why are you telling me to do this thing? You're not giving me solid reason why I should do it. So I feel like just learning to like explain to the child better on how to do these things will make communication easy and would avoid a lot of like mental health issues that people are having now. Because they not communicate, that's why they're having issues. That's why a lot of people now are having mental issues because their parents didn't tell them this thing first, man. Then they're figuring it out on their own, either from bad friends or from situations that they should never have found themselves in.
Well, I would just defer to Alima and just what she said is quite encompassing. So that's
Okay, so another thing I would say is dysfunctional family. Kai, we don't know that this we don't know that these things cost children a lot. You know, if let's even start like this. I have friends, all my friends, their parents are together, and just me, let's just myself alone. The parents are separated. Can we just, if we don't even need to ask. One, the parents are already fighting. Who should claim the what was that word that they use? Just to
Who should
what
take
was
custody?
custody of the child. Thank you. Who should claim custody of the child? Is it the father or the mother? And it is even worse if the child is not even old enough to make a choice. That is worse. And you see, when your parents, the child goes through that trauma, seeing his or her parents fight a lot on what I don't know, on any matter. The child grew up knowing that his or her parents, even if it is about himself or herself, they fight. If it's about normal conversations, they fight. Like the child grew up seeing all of those things, and the child begins to see that, oh, no marriage works, no, there's no marriage that lasts. And at the end of the day, every marriage ends up in divorce. Every marriage, and when a child grows up in that kind of environment, especially when there is domestic violence involved. Oh my God. And that is why I'm not saying that every man that beats his wife grew up from that kind of family. But I'm just saying that I think majority of those people grew up seeing their parents beat each other. Like they beat each other. I've experienced a couple, when you beat each other and you're tearing each other's clothes. You're tearing each other's clothes, and there is violence, destroying things involved. And the children are so traumatized. The children are the ones at the receiving end, and you end up seeing those same children that experience those things do the same thing to each other when they fight. They do the same thing to each other when they fight. Yeah, well, obviously, because they feel that those things are right, but they have created something in their mind. They have created, so all of those things, they are traumatic. If in case we don't know before, let us know now. But a dysfunctional home, I understand that some people stay in that marriage because of children, and it is not to say that when the relationship is abusive, you should say because you don't want to create a traumatic experience for your child, you stay in an abusive relationship. No, please don't stay in an abusive relationship. But we have to create a loving environment, and that is why our choices, whenever we are making a choice, when it comes to marital choice, you have to prayerfully, mindfully make that choice. Now, when we are making choices, we shouldn't think of ourselves alone. Yes, it's love. Oh, I'm in love. I'm in love. But can we allow that love to step aside? We understand that you're in love. Can we put our mind in check and put everything in check? That do I truly want to spend the rest of my life with this person? Do I really want this person to be the mother or the father of my children? Do I think that in the future I will not regret this act? It is very true. Do I think that the choice I am about to make, I will not regret it, and my children will not blame me for this choice that I am about to make? Yes, there is love. Love is involved. Butterflies will run. But these are questions we need to ask ourselves. Because whatever choice you make, yes, it might affect you, but it will affect your children more than it will affect you. Because, yes, you might go through that, you might be able to chest it, but your children might not be able to chest it. The children might not have the mental capacity to chest it, and that is why you should not love blindly. Love with your eyes, with your heart, with your mind, with your everything. Love with everything. Or let your head be correct when you are making a choice, because you don't want to have a child in a dysfunctional home where you wake up every morning with a good morning beating or good morning curse. There are some that is not even physical abuse, it is verbal abuse, emotional abuse. Do you want your child to grow in that kind of family? In that kind of family where the mother is the one taking care of the children and the father is nowhere to be found, or the father is available, the mother is nowhere to be found, the mother runs or the father runs. All of those things we need to ask ourselves those questions, and that is why there is a preparation period, which is courtship, where you need to ask yourself those questions. Not only ice cream and pizza will be eating. We have to ask ourselves those serious and reasonable questions because of the future of our children. because of the future of our children. There are some people that it is not their fault. It is not their fault, and that is why marriage is partnership. When somebody is unavailable, somebody makes up for the unavailability. I had a mother that was very busy. Obviously, when you work in that kind of sector, banking sector, we obviously know that the availability is very mild. But having I had an intentional mother that when she's at home, the whole world will know that she's at home. When she's on leave, nobody go rest. Nobody go rest. Everybody will know. But my dad had to make up for those times. He had to put in the work. Not because my mom didn't train us, not because my mom didn't put in the work whenever she's available. And that was because she always ensured that every time she spends with us, it is impacting and instilling discipline, instilling everything that needs to be instilled in us. She did all of those things because she didn't want to regret for the rest of our lives that she was not there for our children, or she was not there while our children were growing. So she ensured that she created time. Yes, at a stage, well, I was not yet born. Both of them were not available, but at the same time, they still ensured that there was a balance to all of those things. But in a family where people don't have that understanding, where there is no communication between the spouses, what do children do? What are those things? There are sometimes that one partner needs to sacrifice the career for the children, because you don't want your children to grow in that kind of family where no parent is available, no discipline is instilled, no culture is instilled. And in a family, the funny one that I've been noticing now is where there's even hardly any time to even play as a family. Because what people don't understand is that I maybe because it's worked for us. Family altar or family prayer is a time where we bond as a family. It's a time where you can speak up. We might say that we are coming together to pray. We might use the manual and all of those devotional and all of those things. But it's also a time to talk about other things. It's a time to talk about so many things. So even to pray together, even if it is in Jesus' name, our day is blessed. We prosper today. They hardly do it because when father is out there at this time, the father is in Kafansha at this time, out by 4 a.m., especially if you are staying in late. So when the father is going out at 3 a.m., 4 a.m., and the mother too goes out and they are coming back around at other hours of the day, and all of those things causes trauma for children. They cause trauma for children, and it is something that it is a wound that they will find difficult to heal from. It is a wound that they will find difficult to heal from. So we also have to be very, very careful of our choices, because we don't want to have that kind of result at the end of the day. Do we have any other thing any other traumatic childhood trauma in it?
I think the other thing I could just say is like a quality time. I think quality time is not about how long, it's about what you do with the time that you are spending. Like you don't have to spend 2 hours with somebody with a child to give that child quality time. You see, it's those little things, those what you do with the time you have with your child, what you do with those few minutes, that 1 hour break that you are able to carve out for your child. I think that's what matters, because those are the memories that the child will hold on to. So what am I saying in essence is, for people that are busy, understandably so, and you can't exactly spend so long a time, and you can't exactly carve out so long a time, those few minutes, those few minutes that you're able to carve out time to spend with your child, make it make it memorable for them. And I think that helps and prevents trauma.
Okay, so I think for mine, what I would just say, for like, even if like you found yourself in a dysfunctional marriage, maybe you are separated and everything. I know that a lot of people say, okay, we try to like shield our child from it, which is also important. But like I always say, let your child, because these children are not, they are not dumb. Like you might think, oh, the child, but these children actually know. Let your child know, okay, this is the situation. Like because me and my daddy are not living together, it does not mean like we both don't love you as parents. Even if the father, even if the father or the mother, whoever the child is with, even if the other partner does not even want to do anything with the child, you don't sow that seed of I don't want to say enmity, but you don't sow that seed in child mind like your my husband have left me, my wife have left me, they left me with you, they don't want you again. Mm-mm. Even if that, because this person might come back in the nearest future. Yes, you might not accept the person, but the person might want to be in their child's life. And even not letting that person, that child now be aware of, okay, this is the situation, kind of now put you in a case whereby the child is now thinking, my daddy did not like, my mommy said my daddy did not like us, that's why he left us. My mommy say, my daddy said my mommy ran away with another man. Why does a 5-year-old girl need to know that? That oh, my daddy left us to follow another woman, my mommy left us to follow another man. Yes, you as a parent know it, but like you don't need to start sowing those kind of seed against your partner in your child's mind. So yes, you want to tell them, oh, yes, so this person left, this person is no longer with us, but your daddy still love us, so his work that he's just doing it. Just find a way around it. You don't need to, because some people say, well, I'm staying in marriage because of my child, but then you're staying in the marriage and the child is seeing all these problems and everything. It's not helping. Okay, you now leave, you're not trying to sow enmity. Mm-mm. Just find a balance way that the child gets to grow up to know that this is the normal way a household should be. Mommy, daddy, children. Now, for one reason or the other, my own is not like that. But does not mean my own is incomplete. That child is not scared of opening his mouth to talk in public when they're asking him, oh, me, I don't have daddy at home. The other children now starts making jest of them. So no, communication is important. Let the child know, okay, this is it. You don't have a daddy because of this. You don't have a mommy because of this. It does not mean they don't love you. It does not mean they are not there, but just as much as you want to shield the child, there's a place of shielding with knowledge, not just yeah, I'm staying in the marriage because of my child and they are beating you and your child is seeing it, or they are shouting and your child is seeing it, or I'm not staying in the marriage and every day I telling your child, they did not want us, your daddy did not want us, that's why he left. Your mommy ran away with another rich man because I didn't have money. When I see people do that thing, I really don't like it, because why are you letting your child know these things? Like it does not concern your child. It's a parental issue. Your child should know, like don't tell your child all those kind of things. That's just disorder. Don't. I don't like it. Like no offense, but it's not the nicest thing to tell a child. It's not.
So yes, don't use your child as a bait. Don't use your child as, don't put your child in the middle, because they end up want to pick sides and say, I love my mommy more, I love my dad more. Let's stop all of these things. When you're having issues, you don't involve your children in the issue. I don't understand why we'll be involving our children in all of these things. Please, let's stop it. In Jesus' name we have prayed. Amen. Okay, so I want us to round up this part of those traumatic experience. One of those, another thing for me is that I think I've spoken about it, where the parents do not, they are or let me just say that lack of support of the child. When the child is not getting support from the parents, and he or she's always getting no, 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 or you're not doing well, you're not, like, sometimes let's celebrate our child. I think that's one of those things that I appreciate about my parents. The fact that, yes, I was not the best in my class. Yes, I'm not the most brilliant in my class, but there is something that they usually do when I come up with my results. Oh, you didn't do well. It's not that the person that was the first, do they have tenants? They also have this. They understand that you have the everybody's capability is different. Everybody's mental capability is different. You don't always have to be first. You don't always have to be second. You don't always have to, but sha don't come with last position. Don't become last. But there is this encouragement that you need to be better. Yes, you have done well. Yes, you have not done well. This result you brought home is not that good, but there is room for improvement. You can still do more. And when they see that, oh, you need help, when they say that you need help in doing all of these things, then you have to do it. You have to get the help. So all of these things, let's support our children's small wins. Let's try and support them when they do bad. Yes, let's tell them, but don't let us tell them in a derogatory way where they will feel that I'm not enough, I'm not okay, or all of those things. Let's not do that. Let's do that. Oh, it's not good. Oh, you have not done well, but there is room for improvement. I'm not saying that when they fail or when they do, don't go and buy shawarma immediately and say that, oh, I don't want you to have to be depressed. No. I see some parents too that are like, this child brought the worst result. Oh, you are giving him shawarma so that he won't be depressed. You have to make him understand that you can't have everything because you have not done well. But at the same time, you shouldn't don't speak in a derogatory way or derogatory manner to your child, so that at the end of the day you won't instill something that's why some children end up having OCD. You know OCD, right? So that's why some children end up having OCD. You know, there's something I've forgotten. It's a phobia for death, where they tell the child, "Oh, you're dirty," and they keep telling the child all the time that you are dirty, you are this, you are not worth it, and all of those things. And that word keeps ringing in the head of the child. It keeps ringing in the head of the child, and the child now have now has phobia for death, and keeps like any death like this, the person feels dirty and all of those things. Let's try and manage our emotions when we are scolding our children, or when we are talking about serious matters with our children, so that we won't end up having children who have trauma, who end up having PTSD and all of those things in future. So to close this video, we just want to because there's going to be a second part where we'll talk about the healing from those traumas that we have actually spoken about. So we are going to talk about that in the second part of this video. So we just want you to ensure that you like this video, this particular video, this one that we are saying, and every other video that we have on this channel. Please do well to subscribe and share. There is somebody that there are people, lots and lots of people that need to see this video. Lots of people, and that is why we have a guest that is here to speak with us and discuss with us, because we are not perfect, or we are not smart on our own. We also need ideas from other people. So we want you to share this video, we want you to subscribe to this video, and please follow us on all our platforms, on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. We have awesome content on all of those platforms. And please listen to every of our audio podcasts. We have awesome topics on our audio podcast, and I'm sure that you'll be blessed through those podcasts. See ya next time. See ya in the next video.
Bye.
Bye.